Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the counselor's office. Scholars! I will pull the trigger if you don't subscribe. That's right. I'm threatening my own time with Fatebringer. That's right. The fate is in your hands. Subscribe now. We're almost to 4,000. And if you don't, I don't know. I don't know what click, pull the trigger. We're working toward 5,000 at that point. I will transcend from, Jack Black to whatever else. I'll look like a generic white dude. That's right. If you want me to look like a generic white dude and a naked roll mat, 5,000 subscribers. That's the goal. Anyways, talk about generic white dudes. We're talking about Datto, John Destiny again. That's right. We just reacted to Datto, but he actually made a video called Taking a Break from Destiny for a little bit, which he has. He's been playing variety. Anytime I'm streaming, I'll have my Twitch up and you can just see him pop up on the side. Datto is taking a break. Datto doesn't do Destiny, but we're gonna react. It's a 14-minute video. I'm sure we're gonna hear some his reasoning, and I'm gonna be interested to see if it's reasonable or unreasonable. Let's jump in and see what it's all about, shall we?
Hi. I didn't want to bring all my camera equipment back upstairs, so I'm just recording in this room. Excuse the intimacy. Recently, I announced that I was taking a break from Destiny. I didn't really give that much context because I was just really frustrated and I was really exhausted. So I wanted to give myself like a little bit of time to like compose myself and write something a little more elegant than what I was originally going to say. And I really hate making these videos because it's like, more YouTuber problems. But I also hate not explaining myself because I hate being in the dark about things that like I care about. I love context. I love providing context to situations. Like I just need to.
Does he have nail polish on his fingers? What the fuck is that?
Longer term fans of the channel know that I was originally planning a work sabbatical before Final Shape.
Yes, he said this a long time ago, which has always confused me that he's still playing Destiny.
And that did not end up happening for multiple reasons, like the expansion getting delayed and then me launching a second variety channel because of that delay, among a bunch of other reasons that are like not really super important, right? How are my levels? Yeah, we're good. Obviously the game is not in a great spot right now. And I've said as much in my I don't feel good about Destiny 2 right now video. I think that's what it was called. I have very little ambition to play or make content on the game, especially when like the game feels completely broken half the time, which to me like makes a good chunk of the game completely lose all meaning altogether. Like there's no point in me making like a threadling build video when you can go around one-shotting bosses with whatever the exploit of the day is. You know what I mean?
He's not wrong. There's always some exploit or something broken. And also, I just feel like builds don't really matter anymore because the content itself doesn't really matter anymore. Like there's not a lot of options outside of like conquest, but you're only going to do conquest once because no one else wants to farm harder content when you don't even get that much. You don't get good rewards. So it's like, why do it again? So I think most people do not give a shit about builds because you only really need like one or two decent good builds. And outside of that, you might have one for PvE, one for raids, and one for PvP. And that's it, man.
I said early on when the expansion came out and these systems were being announced that I was willing to give them a chance because the only way that I knew for sure if I would or would not enjoy them is by actually experiencing them. That experience turned negative much faster than I was anticipating, not only for myself, but like, pretty much everybody in the community, like 95%. Yep. It's a lot of people is what I'm trying to say. It's not that
I would say about 10% of people enjoyed most of the changes while 90% did not, which is why you saw about 80% of that 90% leave the game.
I don't enjoy playing the game. Like I still enjoy the actual moment-to-moment experiences of playing the game, but the status of...
I'm going to pause a lot because that's what a react does, so shut the fuck up in the comments if you don't like it. The link is down below. That is the one thing that I can say about Destiny is the moment to moments you can have fun. Like today, as I played the new changes with the power and all that stuff, I had an amazing time playing the Presage exotic mission. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I didn't mind going through and playing, one or two different activities from fire team solo ops to pinnacle ops. Like I managed to have some fun, especially talking to chat, right? From moment to moment, you can have fun with Destiny. The problem is it's just moment to moment, because at one moment you're having fun and then another moment something happens or you realize, man, this is kind of fucking ass. Why is it like this? Because then you consume what you can consume and you want more. And in this case, it's not wanting necessarily more. It's just wanting what we already have that's just locked away and useless. At least for me. I can't speak for everyone, but I think a large portion of the community would like to do older content that is now irrelevant.
The game has created this chain reaction of events that makes participating with anything revolving around the game a, quite frankly, miserable experience. In my case, this mainly comes in the form of streaming the video game. There are plenty of things that I do not mind about streaming Destiny. When there's new content to play, it is fun. I played the new exotic mission that just came out, although with some technical difficulties that I'm not really going to get into. That's a separate thing. And as a first-time playthrough, I thought that mission was pretty fun. Whenever my friends are raiding.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? That shit was blander than my asshole.
I will try to join them, as I really enjoy raiding with my friends. It's a lot of fun. Most other things outside of that have not been fun, like almost at all. When the game is in a bad state, which it feels like it is more often than it isn't.
Constantly, I think for a year straight, it's been in a bad state.
The experience of streaming the game becomes unfun from an entertainment standpoint. I do not feel like I do a good job of being an entertainer, because when the game is in a poor state, my stream acts like a place for people to just vent their frustrations, sometimes constructively and sometimes not. But after having the same conversations day in, day out, rehashing the same talking points every day, multiple times per day,
yep,
it just gets depressing. There is zero entertainment value there.
I want to give Datto big props for saying the quiet part out loud. He's first off acknowledging that it is from a streamer point of view. He understands that he's an entertainer at the end of the day, as his job is entertainment, and that it is not entertaining, which is why it's becoming more of a negative situation, because most people are not actually entertained in this situation. I appreciate the honesty here.
Whatsoever.
I also appreciate that he's not immediately blaming the entire fucking community. That's another, I didn't know that was hard to do, but for some content creators, that apparently is hard to do.
So like game bad equal community sad, and then community sad turns into community mad or anger, and then I feel like I end up taking some of the brunt of that anger because I am the opinion man. People want.
You're also the dude that Bungie connects with. You're also the dude that works with Bungie. Like, I think there is some fairness in those comparisons, but there's also some unfair comparisons, which is why I continue to say that they need to cancel and stop doing content creator summits. They need to stop doing creator summits. Get rid of creator summits. You're putting these content creators in a bullseye, even if they are like Sweatcicle, who give, try to not glaze Bungie, and they try to give actual opinions outside of glazing. It puts these people in crosshairs. And that's kind of what happens with Datto, right? Datto is a perfect example. He's in the crosshairs. He's John Destiny, and people see him connected with Bungie, and therefore, by extension, they are shooting all the blame to him because they know that they can get a direct reaction. You can't see how Bungie's reacting, and so these people want a reaction. They want to hear feedback, and so there's nothing better than getting a reaction from someone that has a connection to Bungie. It feels like you're venting your frustration And a lot of these people, they feel like they're able to direct their anger at someone and get a visual reaction that satisfies the little receptors in the brain, giving a little dopamine that makes them feel better, that now someone is experiencing their frustration, they're understanding this level of irritation. They're able to get what's here and throw it out here, and finally, now you understand a little bit of what I'm going through, because I don't have time, I'm wasting money, and I like whatever their beef is. By the way, I'm not saying this is justified, but I am saying that a lot of people are reflecting their frustrations to Datto, because he's by proxy an extension of Bungie, even if that's not true. He's still his own businessman, but he does have a connection to Bungie. But people are making this correlation that you have done business with Bungie and you've talked to Bungie, you've made decisions with Bungie, therefore you are part of the problem, and therefore I can get an immediate reaction from you, and therefore I'm going to piss you the fuck off. And it has worked, because guess what? Content creators are reacting in the way that Datto is reacting, which only justifies this behavior. Sorry, I did an entire psychological breakdown. It's one of the few times I get to, flex my knowledge and understanding of the human mind, but this is what's happening.
Opinion man to know their opinions, but when opinion man does not have the same opinions of those individuals, usually seeking some kind of validation, they will become frustrated with the opinion man, which turns the mood sour. Lately, it's just been that, like, we're all sad. Me too, And like, regardless of those cases, my live stream suffers greatly because my mood drops and then I feel like a failure. Like Destiny is...
He's letting it impact him emotionally, and that's the problem. Yeah, and it's different for me than it is for him, because it's a hobby for me, it's a job for him. And when it comes to paying the bills, you gotta keep those numbers up. It's all about the numbers game, and I get it. And you're trying to be an entertainer, you're trying to entertain, is your job's on the line, right? I don't know if financial, we don't know where he's at. We don't know about his wife. We don't know what's going on, right? We don't know. Everyone has their own things that they have to focus on, though I would say I think he makes a decent amount of money. Who knows? With how shit Destiny's been, maybe it's dropped. I mean, day one for the Epic Raid, the numbers were so low that I don't know if he probably made half of what he made from the Final Shape Salvation's Edge raid race. Well, no. The point is, it's impacting his mental health. He just described it having a negative impact, in which case you need to think about yourself. You should not be having such an emotional reaction, which, as someone who crashed out from Destiny, I stopped playing Destiny for pretty much the rest of the week, because I crashed out emotionally. It made me annoyed to play the game, and therefore you just had to take care of yourself.
Is the paint that I was using to do my art, and the paint is all crusty now and it's dried up, and I need new paint because I can't make anything with this crusty paint. So part of it is absolutely that I am not having that much fun on the game, but part of it is also that I am failing to make the stream entertaining, because I'm just tired of the game. I'm tired of the same 3 conversations about leveling, and then the portal, and then whatever they're talking about in the TWID that week. I'm looking at my OBS.
It is if you are tired and you're tired of hearing about the portal power progression, this has been for months on repeat. Every week it seems like we are rolling shit back, and it is tiresome. And I think that fatigue is also Bungie's fault. It's not the community's fault. They should have never made these changes. They made wide-ranging changes that were not beneficial to the player, and that's Bungie's fault. But they're also fatiguing everyone, because everyone's tired of fucking hearing about the portal. Everyone's tired about these constant changes. They just want the game to be good. Just make the fucking game good.
Timer, my streaming software, like someone in a cubicle looks at the clock waiting for 5 p.m. to hit so that they can leave work, right? Viewership is also down horrendous for me, but that's the case for a lot of people. So, that's not a me exclusive problem. But it's motivation kept completely draining from that as well, right? I eventually snapped after the Epic Raid, which you might have seen my opinion of in the last video I did. I thought the raid was pretty good. I thought Bungie did a pretty solid job with it. It met, and I would say slightly exceeded my expectations for what they were going to deliver. But like I've said recently, even when I think Bungie does get some kind of a win, it doesn't matter, right? The feedback comes rolling in like, yeah, but like, what about this other thing? Or like, the rest of the game sucked. Or like, no, actually the raid sucked, but I didn't play it. And for those of you...
I'm going to say right now, I think you can have a subjective opinion that it was good. But I think objectively, based on results, it was a failure. The Epic raid was objectively a failure based on views on the raid race, players playing, and just... if raids in general are not consumed as much, but the fact that it is consumed even less than it was previously is all you need to know.
On the Devil's website, formerly known as Twitter, you can search my profile and pinpoint the exact moment that my spirit snapped in half. I simply had nothing left to give, nothing left to argue, nothing left at all. I posted that I was taking a break. I logged out of my account. I have yet to return to that account. I'm sure there's plenty of nice comments waiting for me whenever I get back, though. Looking forward to seeing all that.
You got to learn to meme. You just got to meme the mean comments. At some point, people give up. When you troll a meme, the bad comments, people stop. You can learn a couple things from me.
I need some time away from the game. I've needed it actually for like a very long time, and I wish it did not have to get to this point in order for me to take a breather, but it's been 11 years. I need it. I need it, man. The longest break I've taken from the game is like 2.5 weeks, and that's because I went to Japan in 2019, and I literally...
Most raiders just try hards. Bungie forgot about casual players. Here's the deal. I think it makes no sense that they introduce Explore mode, which is kind of like the new player friendly, and it was successful. People loved Explore mode as a starting grounds to introduce them into dungeons, and then they just got rid of it. They just got rid of it, which doesn't make... They didn't even make one for the new raid, which they should have. They should have made a new player version of the raid, and they didn't, and it makes no sense.
Did not have the capability of logging onto the game. Like, that's why I was inactive for so long, is that I couldn't access it. What else? People have asked me about Borderlands 4. You know, have I been playing it? What do I think of Borderlands 4? And the truth is, I am completely burnt out on looter shooters, any loot-driven experiences.
I have not played Borderlands for about a week or two. I don't even log in anymore to do wildcards. Here's the deal. I think it's okay to play a single player campaign game and then finish it and be done with it and come back when there's a new update. That's how that's supposed to play out. Live service games like Destiny live and breathe on being alive all the time.
Form stuff, anything like that, I'm burnt out. I've put in well over 10,000 hours in those games in my life at this point, and I don't think there's anything remaining in the genre for me that I would consider new or novel.
Yep.
It's not the game, it's me. I think Borderlands 4 is a pretty good game as far as Borderlands goes, and I've played a lot of Borderlands in the past. But just like pretend for a second that after you come home from work, your friends asked you if you wanted to go back to work with them.
Yeah.
That's what playing most looter games are like.
It does make sense. He plays Destiny for a living, and then afterward you get your free time. Like, hey, more Borderlands. But here's the deal, though. I can't speak for him, and it's his opinion, and it's how he sees it, right? But for me, Borderlands is so silly and all of the over the top, like, and no, like only retards take things out of proportion. You can mod the game and you can play however you want to play the game because it's a single player campaign game that you can play co-op with friends. It's a nice relief. It's more of a casual first person shooter, though you can treat it and grind the heck out of it, but it's still very casual, and it's that way. It's how it should be. Single player games should be more casual than these competitive live service games. That's what the charm of them are. That's what they provide on the table.
Like for me nowadays, there's not really any novelty left in the experience for me. If you don't play looters very often, that's probably really fun. But you name the game, and I'm probably just going to tell you the same thing. I'm just tired of the genre. I do have a couple of things that I was working on before I announced any sort of a break. I'm not sure if they're out already. It just depends on when like this comes out. So I do plan on finishing up those things. I think actually one of them is just this video, and then another one is another thing. But if I'm to have like any passion for this franchise and for my job, like if I want any of that to return, I need some time away, which has always been one of my greatest fears while working in this industry. But like if I have no passion, then my content isn't good. And if the content's not good, people leave. If people leave, I can't do this for a living anymore. And all things considered, I still do really like being a content creator, but just not right now for this game anyway.
That's fair.
What does time away actually mean? In this case, it means I'm not going to make any Destiny content for a little bit. I will be and still am streaming 4 days a week. I have just been playing other games with other non-Destiny creators. I will be and still am making videos.
Smart. He's branching out, chat. He's being smart. He's branching out. He's no longer just relying on Destiny. He's trying to go beyond.
A lot of them are on the second channel. I will be back for Renegades in December. If I get invited to some kind of a capture event, then maybe I'll have some content, like some preview content before Renegades. But for at least October, I am taking a break. I'm not opposed to staying up to date. I will probably read the weekly twids, as it appears there's going to be a good amount of info coming from them in the next few weeks. I'm not sure if I'm going to make a video on them, though. I think, I don't know, I think something would need to be pretty game-breaking for me to make a video. Like they need to announce something big for me to make a video in the middle of this break. I will leave you with some final thoughts on the most recent Bungie post that they made about leveling coming up in Renegades.
We're getting some final thoughts before he hits the door. Let's see.
Since I've gotten a bunch of questions in my live streams about it, and I don't want to leave you empty-handed, although I don't think my take will be that surprising. What was it? Bungie announced that recently that they are doing some big adjustments for Renegades. Seasonal power is going to carry now into Renegades. So like levels are not getting reset with the new expansion. Unstable cores will not get reset as a result. And then starting very soon, if it's not out already, there's going to be a catch-up leveling boost to 300 that's going to be available, or like is available for players to go get. So you can you catch up with everybody. Bungie's going to talk more about that in a twid, but I'm already recording this video before that twid comes out. So if I have anything else to say, I will put it in the description, or I'll like pin a comment or something like that. So just come back to this, or come to this for the first time. I don't know when this is going out yet. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was not looking forward to re-leveling, considering how this first cycle of leveling has gone. I said I would give feedback. The feedback is, I want to do it. At least
don't want to do it. Yeah, no one wants to do it.
Not on a 6-month cycle. A year cycle is definitely better, but I'm sure once the next expansion after Renegades rolls around, there's gonna be a very high chance that I feel the same way. I want to do it. I was interested in seeing how much the experience was going to be improved with Renegades, but that'll likely have to wait until like the expansion after that.
Yeah.
I've also seen some things online saying that Bungie is completely abandoning leveling altogether.
God, I hope so.
Don't get it twisted. They said specifically Renegades.
I really hope they do abandon it.
Given how much people do not enjoy the leveling experience, it's probably time to ditch it altogether, especially now that they're introducing like level deltas into XYZ difficulties in the game. So it's going to be like a static amount of levels and this and that. Kind of like, how it was before.
What the fuck?
Oh, I got so close to doing it all in one take, but I stumbled on my words. Dang it, Brimstone. I was so close. I appreciate that they tried to make leveling feel valuable or important, but it also feels like they made it too important. I've said it a bunch recently.
Power progression became the content. When you play other MMOs, and I think a good example is like, I'm going to use Diablo 4, right? I don't know how it's changed, but on launch, it wasn't about necessarily it was about getting the gear and getting to the next world tier and being able to do harder content as you scaled up. But you could continue to use that build, and then you would try to farm the next set, because every tier, the stats got better and better and better and better. And eventually, once you got to the highest world tier, everything from that world mattered. Bungie has tried that with Kepler, except it wasn't. It's really weird that it didn't work out at all like Diablo. In fact, it was just complete failure. Like, they did world tiers, but it made them so pointless and just bad. It was just, I don't know what they were doing. Then we have difficulties that kind of scale and do that, and then the different armor tiers as well. But power itself wasn't the reason. It wasn't the goal of Diablo. It was building into stats, building into your build. That was the goal. Leveling up your character to unlock more points, to craft a perfect build that you could use to take on the most challenging content and go higher and higher. That was the goal, was the experience going through the content. It wasn't about the power level. It wasn't about the levels of the gear. And Destiny, that's all it was. That's all it is. It's, hey, what level are you? Keep grinding. You're not playing content to play the content. You're playing content for the power. And then what's the power used for? What was the point of the power? What to just recircle back into the content you were already doing, but at a higher tier now. It's just it's regurgitating, and now it's even more pointless with power deltas, with caps. It's just pointless. Now it's like, why are you gaining power if it's capped? I don't know. There's something to do. Oh, well, where's the content? That's the thing. There never was any.
It really feels like leveling is the only thing the game has to offer right now, and then nothing to really do with that leveling experience.
Exactly.
The leveling experience is just playing the same content we've had access to for a while now, while trying to make it as easy as possible to get the easiest rewards, which can only entertain for so long, right?
Yeah.
And after so many runs of like whatever I'm doing, I'm just like, I'm sitting there asking myself, like, what's the point? What's the point of it all? What are we even doing anymore?
And you've got to think, as a streamer, he plays this game longer than most people do on average. He plays, and if we're getting into the psychology of gaming, streamers play more in video games than what human beings are supposed to. Based on, we could do an analysis based on classic addiction. The amount of the time that people play, it could be considered addiction, but it's for a job. But if it wasn't for a job, it would could be classified as gaming addiction, right?
Or what are we even doing? And then half the time there's an exploit to abuse anyway. What's the point of it all? What is the point of it all? I'll leave it there. I've been on this break now. Big yawn. I've been on this break for about a week now, and I've already seen a lot of support from people as I try out the variety gaming arc. I appreciate that more than I will ever be able to put into words. I've really enjoyed streaming the past week, minus my tech problems. My mood is way up. The vibes are way up. The second...
That's how I felt playing Borderlands 4 and playing Battlefield 6. The vibes. Especially when I was playing with snipers, even though I'm not getting massive viewage, which I don't care, I'm playing anyways. Playing different games, it's a breath of fresh air. It's so good.
Channel has had videos and shorts nearly every...
By the way, getting a breath of fresh air and then returning to the stench of Destiny 2 in the state that it's at just reminds you that it's still garbage. People think that going and playing other games will suddenly make you change your opinion about the issues. No, that's not how that works. You can continue to criticize a game that you don't play. Don't let anyone deceive you. You can. You have a right to. They're just upset because they're okay with the sitting in shit, and they don't want their precious game to change, even though no one else is playing it. It's a selfish thing. They don't want the status quo to change because it's not impacting them. The moment that things start to change, they get upset. And that's why they don't want the status quo to change. They're okay with the state of the game. They don't give a shit if you don't enjoy it. they enjoy it. And that's why you see people so defensive and telling you to go play other games, because they're okay with how things are.
Day in October. If you don't want to watch the stream, you just catch the edited version. I know everyone is like everyone who's interested is probably subbed to that channel already, but I'm still going to shout it out anyway. It's in the description. That's it. I'm done. I'm going to go. Hopefully some of you will still be around when I come back in what I'm going to say is mid to late November. Yeah. Hi, Bibs Toad.
Which is not that long of a time. Like, to take a break, feels like a couple weeks.
But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.
Datto out. Datto has left the building. Let's see comments. The time to watch a video of Sweatsko reacting to this saying, yeah, so true. That's so real. Sweatsko. Hey, I actually stop and give feedback. By the way, people cannot bitch or get upset at me for taking time to react. I think I do a hell of a job actually giving a reaction and thoughts versus this. I can't speak to how Sweat reacts to other people, but damn, I don't. Datto does go touch grass. Enjoy the break, man. I have thoroughly enjoyed Hello Datto's content. Your drunk Mario Golf streams, man. I really wish I liked alcohol. I would do drunk streams. I would play with friends and do some drunk golfing and stuff like that. But I can't tolerate alcohol. Like, I hate alcohol. It makes me hurl. I never forget the reply you made to that idiot on Twitter on your epic raid completion. People like you make interacting with this community miserable. Beautifully said, Datto. You, me, and 90% of the world. My opinion deserved this break. It's funny. Like, when I tell you guys, and people do it to me, by the way, people will say that I'm their opinion. And I always preach, come to your own conclusion. Don't just take what I say as truth. But this doesn't explain 90% of the Destiny community. This is what it does. 90% of the fucking community, their opinion is based on a YouTuber. It truly, it is. What does XYZ content creators have to say about this? This is my opinion. Instead of coming up to their own conclusion and thinking for themselves, it's always someone else. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. The link to the video will be down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video.